Zion, Kof, Raish, Yud, Hey, Square World, how are y'all doing? 9:18 in the AM. Just wanted to give y'all a little AM motivation. We are about to go to this meeting. So this is something that I've been subconsciously putting out into the universe to bless me. This is a pivotal point in my career, my entrepreneurial career, changing business models. So I'm going to have a very important meeting with an insurance company, one that I'm looking to join forces with. There's an entrepreneurial aspect about it where you can actually start your own company. It's kind of like an MLM, multi-level marketing platform. So I'm going to get more insight about that. Also in this current, I would say, business or employer, employee, or independent contractor to captive agency environment, I'm looking to get a sign-on bonus. I know my value, I know my worth, so that's what it's all about. So I'm letting y'all know that's my goal, my aim, my intent. This is probably unprecedented with this company, but I don't know. So something I've learned, you don't get what you don't ask for. So I know my value, I know what it's going to take for me to basically, quote unquote, on board and give them a lot of commitment in the area of meetings and podcasts that they're looking for. But I mean, I know that will be, quote unquote, income producing activity, but that takes time away from other income and producing activities in my life. So I'm gonna go ask for the sign-on bonus, see what type of terms maybe we can map out, or I go with plan B. So in any negotiation, you have to come in with a couple of offers and not be in a more of a bargaining position. So I don't have an agent. I'm the agent for myself in negotiating this contract, but this is where I'm at. So confidence equals contract. That's something I picked up from a nice little movie. But so yeah, just got a little cleaned up, presentable. But I feel good. Yesterday was Father's Day. Spent about 6-7 hours with my children, playing games with them, just enjoying their company. So that was good, man. I love it. So the word of the day is confidence, intent. Make sure that you're blueprinting your life for success, and nothing that you do not need and want is beyond your reach. Be realistic about time frames. We do live in a instant gratification society, but success is not instant. It's almost likened or akin to a tree growing. You got to plant seeds. Seed has to grow, depending on what kind of tree that is. If it's seed or fruit bearing tree, first couple of harvests, you can't even eat that fruit right away. So look at success in that manner, man, and it's a journey. So be on your journey. Grab up your mentors, your information. Apologize for the lighting today. The sun ain't out. I'm over here by this tree. But yeah, I'm on my way. Just wanted to give y'all an update. I feel good. You go into contract negotiations, in my opinion, and I'm still new at contract negotiating, but you want to go in with an outcome already pre-planned. So at any rate, I'm still going to win, whether they say yay or nay or discount my offer to a certain amount. I know what I need to square me up. And like I said, I have another company that I can work with. I've already done a little due diligence with them as far as in their model. I'll probably have a meeting with them this week also. So things are good, man. This is the transition. I just looked at my licensing software. I have until July 14th before that runs out. They put an extension in because of the COVID. I want to check on the North Carolina State insurance website today to check on the Proctor or Parsons View to see how they're handling the licensing process in the COVID-19 pandemic arena. So everything is good. Like I said, this is something I kind of mapped out maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So mentally leading up to this, I've been preparing myself, processing it, and feel good that the outcome is going to be what I deserve, what I need. I'm putting my value on. So I'm excited. I hope y'all excited. Like I said, I'm letting y'all view my journey as I grow. I've already, I would say, doubled and tripled my income since I really got into the money game about 2010. So in 10 years, gained a certain amount of skill sets, learned sales. I've already had entrepreneurial insight. Started my first LLC 2 years ago. Worked with investors last year to kind of get that program started within my own mind, and just getting on the job training, on the entrepreneurial training, in the game. Like I said, we on the field, we throwing passes, so we playing offense, we playing defense. So like I said, I'll meet with the other insurance company depending on how this goes today, and I have an investor lined up. I have a chat with him on some of my ideas. So things are good. Things are good, Squirrel World. We are on our way. You are on your way. You are on your way. Just get out there and start, man. Hey, whatever you want to do, start writing it down, start implementing it, man. Action is key. And confidence. That's the word of the day. Have the confidence that you will make it, no matter the quote-unquote mistakes that you make. You're going to make more mistakes as an entrepreneur because you're going to try different things. You have to find out what works for you. I started a service business back in 2005, so that's 15 years ago. I did what I call residential services. I wanted to get into carpentry, building decks, and maybe doing additions eventually. But the universe and my own particular skill set drifted me in a different manner. Went to North Carolina Home Builders Association for a carpentry course that was sponsored free by the state. Putting myself in the environment, wanting to make a change. I was working for a catering company at the time. So like I said, I'm sitting in the eatery. I was a site manager for the catering company, and it just wasn't going anywhere. Making $10 an hour. I could get overtime or more hours, but it was just paid at a flat rate. This was actually a gentleman that I had worked for in a restaurant when I was about 18, 19. He had started his own catering company. So I was a site manager. I would get opportunities to work, which means, I was doing delivery routes, but then, the site manager means you got to guarantee a certain amount of hours. Then you could do private events in the evening and on the weekend. So it was decent, but, I went a whole month without getting paid. Got a chance to see from an inside track of a business owner that was, he was, moving money around. He had, I think, a paid 60 client, one of his bigger contracts, but a lot of income was going to fund that project with the labor, the food costs, equipment and truck costs. So then he was only getting paid, I think, every 60 days on that contract, if I remember correctly, or every 45 days. So that's how business works, man. He's trying to manage that. We hung in there with him. I'll never forget him. He was really a good mentor of mine in the restaurant and culinary field. But then I'm like, man, I gotta make a change. So like I said, put it in my mind. And as a matter of fact, it's very interesting. I've always been, like I said, I had a great mentor in Yahweh Ben Yahweh that was always growing me and raising me up. But in 2004, which might have been around the same time, is when I first read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And what that really did was just highlight to me some things that I already was learning. It kind of gave me more insight into the world of finance. I learned about sophisticated and accredited investor. And what I will tell you, what we practice here on Squirrel World is vocabulary. These books was probably 12 to 16 bucks. They was easy reads. I would soak them up in like 2 days. But the vocabulary was priceless. And then from that, the vocabulary I would get in that book and then research it, and it just would take me into a stream of other words and processes and systems of finance and business and investing. And that really elevated me. Like I said, vocabulary is huge, very huge. One thing I learned in his books is content versus context. So you look at your content like your data or your information. Your context is your mindset. But it's almost like a jar, a glass, or a pitcher. So you get a lot of data. Your context is small. It's like a glass. It's full. You have to expand your context to take in more information. That's why they always talk about thinking big, thinking outside of yourself, making your goal humongous. That way you're expanding your context to put your content in. So that's very key. So, back to the timeline. So, it's 2005, I believe. I'm going through a little metamorphosis like I am now. Work with my brother-in-law. He actually had a lawn company. He hired me on. He needed some help. I actually invested a little money with him trying to make the operation better. Long story short, he only could hold me for about a month. And I think I lost some money. I didn't get paid, the original terms or whatever. Can't really remember that. That was no slight on him. But what I did earn was a process and a system and a look on how it can be done. And from there, I think I got 2 lawn clients that I worked out of the trunk of my car. I went to the pawn shop, bought a lawnmower, a weed eater, and a blower. Serviced those 2 clients. I think that's when I was doing the carpentry course through the North Carolina Home Builders Association. Met a mobile detailer in there that wanted to sell me his equipment. Decided, I didn't know much about the equipment, so decided to buy brand new equipment. So we're going to carpentry class. I'm thinking maybe 3 days a week. Maybe it was a 3-week course or maybe a month. But after the carpentry class, we would go detail cars. And I would just kind of work for free for him and learn. He was showing me the process. I'll never forget this gentleman. I can't remember his last name. His first name was Richard. And can't remember what country in the continent of Africa he was from, but he had a strong work ethic. And that's one thing I do now. Though I'm born in the USA, I work like an immigrant. And that's very key. That may be taboo to say. But you have, and we used to be those quote-unquote immigrants when we worked from sun up to sundown with no pay. So it's in our DNA, it's in our genes. But just back on track real quick. So long story short, income tax rolled around, I think, 2005 or 2006. It was 2005. And my wife at the time, I didn't tell her. Sometimes the women in your life or people in your life can't really see your vision. So I wasn't truthful with her. I took that income tax return, which was about $2,300 or $2,500, somewhere in that vicinity, or maybe a little bit more, maybe $3,000. And I bought brand new mobile detailing equipment along with some lawnmowers. And that's how Zacharyah Services first started. And from the catering company, I was setting up a deal to buy his van. So that was the birth of my service business, working out deals. I did all right. I think I probably made a 20% jump in my income from when I was working with the catering company. And I went through my trials and tribulations of learning. I had my good days, I had my challenging days. Lawnmower, rider, tire going out, belts breaking, blades being dull, and you needing to sharpen them. Pressure washer going out. Had my first commercial insurance through the Hartford. So, man, I was a young entrepreneur out there making moves, man. Like I said, I was on the field. Learned a lot. Then I knew that I was mostly a white-collar thinking person. I wanted to really use my mind to make money. So then I birthed Zacharyah Services, financial services. Moved to Florida. And this is a kind of a drawn-out story, but we'll kind of shorten it up. Moved to Florida to get some community development insight. I call it kind of doing my Peace Corps work through the Nation of Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, a subsidiary of the Nation of Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, founded by Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. So did about 2 years there. A lot of committees, homeschooling committees. It's weird because now this 10-year cycle, based on what's going on now, people are back to homeschooling. I did that for like 4 or 5 years. So just taking on responsibility and doing different things, man, to grow my context. But so yeah, had an opportunity there through an office, and just wasn't what I was worth, and I decided not to do it. But I had my income goals down. Came back to North Carolina. Took me 2 years because I wanted to build my credit. So I worked a job, got a culinary job or a cooking job, something I know that's my trade from high school. Got that job, waited 2 years to build new income, stayed in a townhouse that my first wife wanted to move out of, but I needed stability from that standpoint. Started building my credit. Got into the back door of car sales because, like I said, I had a goal. Wanted to get to 45 to 60,000 a year. Lo and behold, the universe blessed me. I think 2013, I hit about 43. Before then, I'm making 17, 18,000 a year. Business income, I think I jumped that up to about 30. With a little part-time job, maybe 6,000 or 7,000 working at the Waffle House. So this has been my journey, man. It's, constantly wanting to grow. I chose to have a lot of children. And I knew that the older they got, they were going to cost more. So I had to be more. So I've always been in the process of growing. So now they're getting older. We got college, we'll have weddings, we'll have all other things, them buying houses. And that's my job, to prepare for all that. So, like I said, I'll get more into my story and kind of chop it up and break it down. Because, like I said, it's anybody can grow, anybody can get here, And you have to be confident that you can. Don't let nobody tell you that you cannot. Because if you believe that you cannot, you will not. You believe that you can, and no matter how long it takes, it's going to get done. That's the reality. So I just pulled up. Meetings at 10. It's now 9:38. Always be early. Being on time is late. But yeah, like I said, just gave y'all a little bit more of Zacharyah. The process I'm going through. Like I said, I'll be coming out with some products soon. Because you gotta, to get where you want to be, you gotta help others. One of the secrets to success, gotta help others. So that's what I'm out here. I'm about helping. From the good book. Don't know the actual scripture, but he who would be the greatest among you is a servant to all. So you must serve, man. How many people can you serve? 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. The more people you serve, the more successful you will be. The older you are in mind, and you can go back in history, the more successful you will be, because those cycles have to come back around. All right, Zion, Kof, Resh, Yud, Hey, Zacharyah. I'm out. Square word.